non-profit organization. So I'm Lori Payne, your executive director, and Todd Payne is our board member. And we're here today with our guest speaker, Arnildo Schildt, environmental consultant, joins us from Brazil, Schildt Ambiental Limited. So thank you. I will introduce Todd, please, to take us through the 45-minute agenda, or pardon me, I guess start out with introducing us to the foundation, and then I'll do roadmap to a blue world and the development project, and then we'll welcome Arnildo to speak about aviation and carbon emissions. So over to you, Todd. Thank you.
Thanks, Lori. So welcome to Project Blue World. Project Blue World is a Winnipeg-based, Manitoba, Canada-based nonprofit foundation. We're a consulting agency that provides management solutions to community, teams, and companies, with now representatives in 12 countries, and provide hourly, short and long-term consultation, project management facilitation service, from introduction needs analysis to implementing and reporting as required by individuals and teams. As a nonprofit, proceeds from the sales and sponsorship and donations go to development of the foundation, charitable projects, and are granted directly to recipients. Together we can provide a healthy, prosperous planet. Our vision is a world in which every human can obtain happiness. We are dedicated to a sustainable development of the world. We are your hosts. I am Todd Payne, board member and co-founder of Project Blue World, with my wife, Lori Payne. Lori is the executive director, and we are from Winnipeg, Manitoba. So thank you, Lori, for all you do for me and for the world. My background is I'm over 30 years in the printing industry, with my focus the last 16 years with the transition to full digital printing. And my part-time job is 15 years in fire and rescue services as a responder, trainer, and team leader. Lori's background is management, maintenance, asset management, production, service, building, many years in maintenance and management of gas turbines for aircraft and energy generation, including carbon mitigation and emissions reduction. Together we build performance for people using project management systems and many professionals. We are now in 12 countries through our connections of our projects and work. More on our team and our experts we have listed in the grid on the Project Blue World Foundation Solutions database. We invite you to also be listed with us. Please consider to participate. Join the grid via sponsorship of Project Blue World Foundation, www.projectblueworld.ca. Today we'll take 10 minutes to share the roadmap to a blue world and what a blue world is and why do we want one. Then we have a 15-minute presentation from environmental consultant for Claxias del Sol, Brazil, for discussion on global development and aviation emissions. Arnildo Schildt is CEO of Schildt Ambiental Limited, co-founder of our 2021 Global Development Project Charter. Arnildo is also the CEO of the Brazil World Sister Cities International and a Project Blue World regional representative. Today, Arnildo will explains emission reduction in aviation, and we will introduce the United Nations Framework Convention for Climate Change, which guides countries, cities, and communities and corporations in the development of carbon credit programming. Arnildo is available for speaking coaching. You can find him here on LinkedIn and on the grid on Project Blue World. We're here to present and discuss with you our guests, and you're invited to consider our services and join our mission to generate quality of life for people and the planet. Now I would like to introduce my wife, partner, and co-founder of Project Blue World, Lori Payne.
Thanks, Todd. What fun today to broadcast the Global Development Webinar number 1. First, we will introduce ourselves, which Todd has done, and then we'll go into the roadmap for a blue world. But we are a nonprofit public foundation, and we're here to provide opportunity for people around the world. So if you come to our website, you can receive solutions from project management and consultations. We provide grants of services, goods, and funding for nonprofits. You can also donate as your dollars go to support prosperity, options, and opportunity for people around the world. Donate direct to power the foundation or to projects specific that are underway. And then you can also participate as a team member, supplier, or become a sponsor and join the grid become part of the solutions and showcase yourself, your projects, your products and services. A bit about our vision is that we are in a world in which every human can obtain happiness to enhance their quality of life for themselves, their organizations, and their communities. Because we are dedicated to contributing sustainable development through environmental protection, social responsibility, and economic progress. Of course, our values are safety, quality, respect, growth, and honesty in everything that we do throughout our daily work. Let's talk about our history a little bit as we get into what is a blue world. In 2019, we were doing different needs analysis in different industries, and there was a group of us in Winnipeg and external from Winnipeg that started asking industry leaders, what do people want, what does industry need, and what does the planet looking for? And everyone resoundingly was saying they want excellence, they want access to quality of life and opportunities. We want what you have in Winnipeg, Lori, is what I heard for many, many years. Access to the latest in technology and options with great services, experts, training, and tools. So everybody wanted. So we have built the grid, the solutions database, which is full, plus many, many more in the background in our Rolodexes of expertise available to serve. As a result of this problem solving, we developed a continuous improvement program, and we called it the roadmap to a blue world. How do we get to where we want to go? So when we founded in 2019, there was just a team of 5 or 6 of us. Now that we're going into 2025, we have 7 projects in work around the world, and there's over 40 members and team members, folks working with the foundation through partnerships as well. We're in 15 countries with our projects and our regional reps around the world, which Arnildo is one of. By 2030, we'll be reaching around the world, and by 2050, as we align with the UN objectives and increase prosperity and reduce poverty and increase quality of life for people, we can continue together to sustainably build a beautiful world. And folks often are asking, like, what is a blue world? Why did you name it Project Blue World? We are a consulting agency that provides supports everywhere. Blue World is based upon the theory of blue zone theory of longevity, where over time scientists and researchers identified that there's regions in the world known as blue zones, where folks exhibit exceptionally high life expectancies and there's low disease rate, very normal, like unique lifestyle factors, but the unique thing about it is everyone's getting physical activity. It's a low stress environment, strong social connections, good rich diets and local health, whole foods, which sounds like the perfect place, doesn't it? So what's the plan? How do we get the whole world to have such a nice lifestyle and way to live and have that quality of life? How do we develop that? So we do it together. We encourage and we market. We showcase excellence is what we've done, and we're bringing in project by project so other folks can follow along and learn. Many different regions are carrying out initiatives using the same project management system. We're providing easy to navigate, full access people services. This is the idea from when you're first born to your last days, prenatal to palliative, with behavioral changes. What does it when we all act and behave a different way? It affects the overall climate. And then we carry on by monitoring, checking, and continuously improving our performance. If you come onto the website, you can see more and learn more about the roadmap. The goal is to receive a continued flow of access to quality of life and services for people by 2022. Is when this was first drawn up in 2019. So we're well on our way to developing quality of life for citizens. Just change the page. And we're coordinating, we're encouraging, we're utilizing is the path. And yeah, short term, we've been marketing and communicating and building till we're in 15 countries now. We roll out by region and industry until every citizen can receive success and access to services. That's the whole idea behind the roadmap. And a bit more about us. If you come to the website, you can find press releases, and down in our gallery, there's brochures and information about what you will achieve. We're building houses in Burundi, so we have housing projects underway, soccer programming for students and youth in Benin, agriculture projects underway in Cape Town, South Africa, and in Gambia, Brikama, Gambia. Pardon me, that's Brikama, Burundi, and Manitoba, Gambia. It's a lot of places getting to be added to our list of projects and work, so it's exciting as we develop these partnerships. We work away together. And we talked about, so it's the roadmap to a blue world. We want to talk a little bit about the Global Development Project. So in 2021, the foundation was developed and services underway, and we met Mr. Schildt. And Arnildo asked us, would you please consider to develop a global development charter to bring all the nations together and develop projects one by one around the world? And I said, Arnildo, we're talking about the exact same thing here. So let's do that. So we developed something called the Global Development Project. And you come into our website and click the grid. You'll see all the projects. You can choose by the drop-down menu to select here projects. Or if you just scroll down, you can see the first 3 webinars that we're discussing today are right at the top. Webinar 1, 2, and 3. Aviation is this one that we're coming up to next. Roadmap to a Blue World is what we just covered. There's more information here. And then Global Development Project is this one. So just click into the tab. And this explains that this is part of our webinar today. And it's from Project Blue World Foundation and Schildt Assessoria Ambiental Limited. And yeah, it's to build and develop options for people. So the climate change plan in accordance with the United Nations protocols, November 2021. So 2050 is coming very soon, and working together, we're following goals. So we can achieve quality of life, happiness, wellness for citizens. And we do this by focusing on initiatives and rolling out continuous improvements until every nation manages for themselves and for the greater whole. So that's part of this webinar today. It's a vision of future for local and global, brought to you by Project Blue World and Schildt Assessoria. So Arnildo, thank you very much for your partnership. There's Arnildo and I back in September of 2021. You've come from Brazil twice now to Winnipeg to visit with us and many leaders around the province. So thank you for your support. And we invite everyone on the webinar today and the folks that follow in the future to come and join our efforts. Climate change is about turning to positivity. Together we learn to develop a beautiful world. I think those are your words, Arnildo. It's kind of the end of the explanation about the roadmap to a blue world. And how's our time? We're at 8:13, so that's perfect. We're now going to roll into the aviation carbon emissions. Arnildo, are you ready to present your presentation?
Yep.
Okay, let me just switch for you.
Okay, thanks, Laurie. Thanks, Todd. In the last few years, more than 25 years, my principal job is go around the world with the institutions, universities, governmental levels, and especially Brazil, representing what Brazil do and the pioneerism of the carbon credits program. And we start in Rio 1992, and then Rio +5, Rio +10, Rio +20, and now the last few COP 26, 27, 28, 29, and the 30 will be here this year in November. So we again start and promote and show to the world what we can do, not only with the fuels, the fossil fuels, the aviation fuels, but in other hands like the forestry, the waters, the biodiversity of the animals. We do a lot, we study a lot, we have researchers, institutes in Brazil work together with United Nations directly, with Japan, with Germany, China, US. Now we will do a lot of work together with Manitoba in Canada and the other universities there too. But about the airplanes, we start a few programs more than 25 years ago with sunflower here in South Brazil and the border with Uruguay, Paraguay, and Argentina. We planting a lot of forestry of sunflower, and we use specifically for the airplanes. So we change around 30% of the fossil fuels in the airplanes, and the Brazilian companies was the pioneer with the group of Germany scientists who comes to Brazil and show us how to do those fuels and how to increase the process to give the support for one big company like in the past Varig, Latin, and others internationals, they start together like Lufthansa. So we extend the plantation and we make together the use of the fields of sunflowers with Lufthansa. Lufthansa have a very good lab in Germany, and they help us to develop this kind of plantation. After that, we use a few and 3 for 4 months. We take some forestry planting trees like 30% of the trees we have in the world, they can be transformed in oils and fuels for many kinds of equipments and motors. So we use this technology, this innovation, and we make some startups all over Brazil with the BNDES is the big bank for support for give the support for infrastructure in Brazil to make those plantations in the farms and give the resources, the money support to this plantation. And in this way, we find the price come down for use alternatives fuels for the airplanes. And many companies around the world, like Emirates, Air Mexico, the Brazilian air companies, United, Delta, American Airlines, they come in some presentations in the last 10 years in Brazil, and they make the owner programs in his owner countries like in US and Germany and Japan and China and in the Emirates. So they find out the price of the fuels come down around 30% of the cost if you use alternative fuels. And then the United Nations came to the UNFCCC in Bonn. So they implement the program of carbon credits in the airplanes companies, like use of SAF, sustainable aviation fuels. And I make a little presentation in Canada a few months ago about the CO2 emissions in aviation. I think can change the page. Uh, and in that way, we try to let the people know about how we can do and how is the support of the government level to do that. We know all the countries around the world, they start many kind of programs, and the aviation is one of large, and to start the cost is higher. It's a big cost to implant something in one new country about forestation, reforestation, or use fuels from rice, fuels from soil oil, so soybean oils, and the people they don't know exactly what to do. And I think through the Blue Wall Foundation and programs from now on, we will put together the framework of the United Nations and the experience we have all over the world yet, so to present and to show how to do that process for change the fuels in the airplanes. Right now, we only have around 2-3% of the aviation in the world using some part of this kind of fuels. But at 2030, the negotiation at the United Nations will be the use of the fuels in the airplanes around 30%. This is very representative at the cost, at the process, and to clean out the world about the problems of the aviation of fuels, fossil fuels, to increase the problems of CO2 in the atmosphere. So the climate change also gives support of money, and they decide in this last COP29 in Baku to give 300 billion US dollars to distribute for projects around the world, special and in the underdevelopment countries process for startups, for companies, and to the government level to fight against floods, to fight against devastation, and deserts start coming, and more time. Uh, they the process is uncovered, so need more money and more money. But in Brazil, we have many good small experience, but in special about the plains in South Brazil, in the area of São Paulo, in the area of Minas Gerais, we have a large plantations of this kind of sunflower right now, rice, soybeans to use specifically to the airplanes. And those companies come to Brazil. I was in a meeting a few days ago with American Airlines, and they will use the innovation, the technology to use in Middle East, in the United States, to planting and to start to renew the fuels for the aviation. Can change the slides too. Uh, the context, the general part need to be the government together, need to be the people together, we need to be the schools and universities and the private companies also. Because if the community and the cities and the place and the countryside don't work together, they don't achieve the quantity necessary of this kind of new fuels for the aviation. And the SAF, the sustainable aviation fuels, uh, could be uh, from biological process, from the trees, from grains, but is incipient right now, need to be bigger and bigger. So also India starts some programs there to sell or resale these carbon offsets through the programs of plantation of some kind of special trees, oil trees there. But again, when we come back to Brazil, we have the experience of sugarcane. I think the program here in Brazil, Pro Alco or Alcohol, is the biggest in the world. We already spend and send technology to the United States and Texas and Houston and that region, and they start to planting sugarcane for the oil for SAF to make for manufacture this kind of fuels in the United States. And especially in Canada, we have a big forestry. It's a different kind of forestry as here in Brazil or other place in the world because it's like a frozen forest. So, but they are uh, rich in minerals inside those plantations, and they can be extractive the oil and make the fuel of SAF for the aviation. and the cost can come down around 30 to 40%. So it would be a good thing for the government in Canada, all over the world, but especially in Canada, to start one program with the native Indians, the colonization of north of Canada, to use those forests not only to building houses or to make wood materials to sail to the world, but also to make fuels for the aviation. Can change the page.
Yeah.
Uh, we saw the quantity in millions and what the government level want to achieve at the 2050. They will reduce those to 40, 45%. Brazil yet have the technology and the innovations to do that. But in our agreement, as the Blue World will do in the next steps of those negotiations around the world, they will achieve more than 50% these new alternative uh, fuels, or change the fossil fuels for innovation fuels. And we will make agreements with startups. Brazil will do that in this conference here in next November in the city of Belém in North Brazil in Amazonia. And our country will come to Brazil. We have the confirmation. 196 countries will be here to discuss the new process of decarbonization in the world and to achieve all the programs we can do to use the best the money of those 300 billion US dollars. In this time, in the COP30, we will also ask and try to the development country put more resources and to make the distribution for the universities, for foundations like Blue World. Do they have the condition to find out other technology together with the university, the students, the startups of each city in the world? So we need to work with the local problems, with the people of the local, not bring a strange or external experience, and it's too difficult for the other cultures to develop those innovations. So if you find out the local innovation, the local product, and the small cities, the poor and on the poor countries, the implantation is fast, is better, and the population work together with the scientists and with the government level. Change the page. Uh, we have many inflations and the cost of all those part of innovation. You need to make strong institutions and universities, but also they need the resources. So, Bank of America in North America, I think Bank of Canada, the Green Bank in Tokyo, the Green Bank in Germany, Bank of China, BNDES here in Brazil, and Bank of Brazil. Here's the way to make process and projects. So the projects, they have those supports of the state level, the city level, the mayors, and the legislative chamber, the chamber of commerce of each city, to decide together what's the best to the city, local, then to the state, and after in the country. So we now have the condition here in Brazil to extend, to export this technology in aviation fuels. And most of time the person will make the question, but we have enough fuels, this kind of fuel for the airplanes? No, not yet. But if we give the support for the farmers around the world, every country will be give the all the support, the quantity necessary of SAF for the airplanes for each country. So the price will come down, and the cost of the ticket to fly will be more or less 30% cheaper than yet. Is one good thing for the people, for the population too. And about the footprint, each company already have these own programs of footprint. Is about the use of what kind of fuels, fossil fuel they use right now, and to combat these kind of fuels and buy carbon credits around the world to support this contradiction, to give, to come down to a less emission in these own companies. So takes time, takes a lot of money to do that, and we try, the United Nations try to explain and to show, and the medium term at the long term will be better for us, the population, for the climate change, and for all kind of devastation we have in the world, like fluid, like tornadoes and other kinds of problems we using show every day, saw every day all over the world about those problems, and the problem of the renew the process when the catastrophe is done. We need only saw and start to renew and to put money there to reconstruction, as we do here in South Brazil. Two big companies like Airbus, like Boeing, Boeing right now uh, make a little bit more emission than Airbus, but they fight together. It's a good fight to brings down those emissions and show to the world it's possible to use those alternative fuels of SAF. Can change again the page. And the kind of the productions we use here, sugar plant, we use sunflower, we use oil plantations, we use the grains, and then on the biological terms, some kind of process the Emirates companies in the desert area they start to use, and here in Brazil we try to find out this new technology too, because we have a lot of many kinds of animals, so we can put everything together in one pocket and show to the scientists, and they decide what is the better in each country. Change the page. For reductions, and I don't go ahead in the presentation, Lori be changing the page, but I explain in the big sense of knowledge. Uh, Need to change the aircraft technology too sometimes, because some kind of planes not work in good condition with this kind of fuels. The new technology and the manufacture of the planes, it's a need to be one step of the process. Um, the fuel solutions also takes time because the country don't have a sophisticated process of the tributation process, of the economic process of the news condition and for the news production of this kind of fuels. So the pressure, like the Emirates countries to use oil and gas, uh, diesel, yeah, they will do, they push again sometimes. But if you make the measurement of consortiums with countries, with states. This is the way to fight against the politician pressure against to use the fuels, the SAF fuels in the aviation companies. Can change the place also. The initiatives and the policies in the government level will be discussed with the society. All municipalities, all mayors of the cities, and the legislative chambers and the Chamber of Commerce need to bring together the discussion with the university to implement fast those kind of program and process of this kind of fuels in aviation. And the future challenges we have in these conditions is the technology, is the cost is high to achieve this technology, the sustainable infrastructure in the cities and the gas post and those kind of transformation to electrics and to wind power and from other technologies we already have, but the scale is a small scale in planting in the city. Also, the global regulations. Some countries takes more time to implement the regulation, especially for the aviation fuels. So this is another problem, is a politician problem, but can be solved fast. And I think for finish, the impact will be very strong, very big in the factory of like Boeing, like Airbus, and Air Canada, Air French, Lufthansa, because they use new technology and the cost is less than the normal building, the manufacturing building of airplanes. And the government will give the support to bring down those fees, the impost, and this taxes comes down between 20 to 30% also, is what they do right now here in Brazil. So the companies, okay, we put more money in that technology because the government give us support for do that. And for end, I think the agriculture will be very important, and the farmers, the small farmers, the medium farmers, and the large farmers, to give those kind of new fields the support in planting those kind of plantation to have those benefits for the aviation. The implementation need to be passing for two, three things: the capability to do that, the quantity of the production for the companies. Okay, we have enough this kind of fuel for use in the airplanes, and the sustainability of that programs of their plantations, because you need to have the infrastructure to bring from the farmer to the airport the gas, the new kind of gas for the airplanes, and the reductions of the impact of the emission of CO2 in the atmosphere. Those are the most important things we're gonna have with implementing this kind of process in the aviation programs all over the world. And the time I was in this last time in Winnipeg, I spoke with the president of Boeing in Canada, and they already have his own procedures inside the company, and they will expand these for large amount to achieve all Canada, all the Air Canada aviation companies. So is the first step is done. So from now on, Blue World and I am here in Brazil through the universities in Brazil. I think we can reach the University of Manitoba and put together those information and show all part of the step print for the carbon set in Canada in the next few months. And also, I invite everybody to come to the COP30 here in Brazil, where we will show with all the 169 and 96 countries will be here with the own technology around the world. So the COP30 in Belém will be the uh, turn point of the technology use in aviation and the cars and the trucks and buses. And again, we will be pioneerism here in Brazil, but we will divide our knowledge all over the world. So please, if you have the chance to come to Brazil, in Amazonia, in the middle of Amazonia, come in the next November. Is my invitation, is the government level invitation to everybody. I think I explained a little bit. I will also, at the end of this meeting here, today in Europe is the day with the report of the change fossil fuels, and I have a large information we already received this morning from Germany and from UK. I will ask to Lori to put inside here the presentation so everybody can read the text and know about exactly what each institution and the money, where's come from the money to do that. So will be explained in about 30 page all those information. Thank you.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you so much, Arnildo. So if anything that you share there, we can add in the comments below this live feed, and then we can also share from the website. I'm just checking here to see if there's quite a few comments coming in from, I don't see them on the LinkedIn chat, but they're coming up here in the live in the studio. Some comments from India, from Nabin, our friend Nabin, who's the e-car engineer. He's just commenting that crude oil independence, alternate energies. I think I can just show that on the screen maybe. Yeah, there's Nabin. We were talking about this week. There's other alternative energies too, not just the biofuels, but he's talking about solar, lithium ion, resulting in the beautiful world to be left for future generations to enjoy. So it's nice to see the folks. He's coming in from India. Yeah, and then the other lady is Sean. She's saying blue world to the world. I think she's joining us from Nigeria. Sean does virtual assistance work with us. And someone's discussed. You've mentioned to me before, Arnildo, about the world's oceans, that we haven't touched on that too much yet, but the quality of the health of our oceans is top of mind as well, not just our atmosphere, right?
Correct.
Shall I ask you a couple of questions? I don't see any questions in the LinkedIn chat. But I wanted to just clarify, we have enough biofuel mixed with other aviation fuels to power transportation vehicles, to power energy grids and any other energy-seeking equipment. We just have to manage the production of all that process well and reintegrate systems so that we can utilize all those fuels, right? These next few years are about a lot of connecting and collaborating between the different countries to make all those different fuel options available to all of us.
Yeah, the United Nations through the UNFCCC in Bonn also put in his website and his discussion they have every week around the world, and the environmental week will be start next month, June 1st to June 7th. So they will show how to make those kind of productions and give the small technology for do that. So every people around the world can do his own fuels for his cars, his bicycle or motors. so in a small scale, but is one kind we can develop together too.
Which reminds me that, so in our future presentation, we'll talk more about what the United Nations has done and the offset platform and the different types of programming and projects of yourself. And then we'll have someone from Canada here to talk about what Canada's projects are underway. So I thought I'd just quickly pull up the UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention for Climate Change. If you go to this website, I think I can actually click up the banner along the bottom so it floats across the bottom too, so people can see that. Maybe it's not coming up.
I think we can put together all those big corporations we have on the world to discuss together too.
Exactly. Okay, so I just put up at the bottom the UN website that folks can go to learn more about the carbon offset programs. And then visit, please, Project Blue World Foundation at projectblueworld.ca. So we have aircraft flying today using SAF. We know that, right? Sustainable aviation fuel. Setting up the systems. I love the idea that the cost of fuel and the cost of the flights will come down. That's wonderful news for travelers.
Yeah, all the government and the companies like this.
Yeah, very much. So next time we can talk more about maybe how a farmer can develop a project and apply to become a certified project within the offset program framework. So like the types of projects, who can build them? Let's talk about that in our next webinar. And then we'll showcase each of the projects that we have in work as well. Any final comments as we close out? We're actually just a little bit over time. Anything from you, Arnildo?
I think I will be from now on and those process of through the LinkedIn and the others presentations. We make more and more every twice a month or more than that in the future. And also for the news, one in Canada, to try to send or make the UN presentation in Canada, probably if not in the next year, but in 2 years from now, as we try a few years ago, so we can make one copy in Winnipeg, but the Prime Minister need to ask for that for the United Nations. But I think we are in good shape now. We are in the right direction to do that.
Why not Winnipeg, right? We'll bring the Conference of the Parties here. Excellent.
Yeah.
All the leaders from the United Nations, all 196 countries, to the center of North America. We're the center of technology and trade, tourism. Yeah, it all happens here. So we'd be welcome to have everyone here. And I'll just remind folks to come to the website, to the grid, to see more on the projects. This video will be displayed in the Global Development Webinar 1B and C. So you can watch it again and then come find more solutions. See Arnildo and Todd and myself and the rest of our team and work that's underway. Thanks very much.
Also, I spoke in Baku with Simon Steele, is the CEO right now, executive director and president of UNFCCC. So I told him need to be make more and more big conference among the world to include the society in those discussions, because when you go to in other places like Germany, Warsaw, Tokyo, here in Brazil, but the people from the other countries need to be participate too. So you will make a smaller conference among the world 2-3 times a year. So it will be best. This presentation will be start here in Brazil this year, and then we will stand. The United Nations will stand all over the world from the next year on. So Canada will be one of the countries will receive those conferences.
Wonderful. All together. Anything else from you, Todd?
No, I just want to say thank you to Lori and Arnildo for organizing this. It was fantastic, and hopefully we have more. And thank you to everyone who attended today.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Perfect. Thank you, Todd, and thank you, Lori. So as soon as finish here, I will send the information from UK and Germany about the fuels, and you can put in the website to show to everybody.
Perfect. Have such a great day. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.